During 2024, the National Carnival Commission welcomed more than 100,000 visitors to the John Cupid Carnival Village, an increase of 30,000 on the previous year. Now, in 2025, the NCC expects to surpass that 2024 figure with even more on offer to the public. Now, to speak to that and more under the general theme, Carnival 2025, No Place Like Home, we have NCC CEO Keiba Jacobs Mottley. How are you doing, ma'am? Morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
It is a pleasure, but I've seen you all over the place, opening words, yes, to make sure the things start nice. How has the season been thus far for you?
It's been really awesome, really awesome. I'm doing much better than my voice is doing, so just to say. But it's really been good. We've been getting a lot of support from our special interest groups. All of our special interest groups, which is Pan Mas Calypso, so Patron Bago, Tuku, and the Trinidad and Tobago Carnival Bands Association. All of their events have been going really well so far. So we're just really happy. And then, of course, well, the NCC is responsible for the Carnival Village as well as stick fighting. So we're going good.
Now, I know sometimes people say all of them is the children and the baby, but have there been any standouts for you, things that you've really attended and say, yeah, man?
Yes, so Pan Semis was really epic. Pan Semis was real good. You know, people had fun, everything went really well. And of course, there's always room to improve and to grow. TTCBA, they had an Old Mass competition 2 weekends ago. That was really nice. Stick fighting preliminaries in Moruga. That was also, we had a lovely turnout from the community in Moruga, so that was good as well. So
not just Moruga, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people at Ojo Road in Sangre Grande this evening.
Yes.
Because
yes.
that is also on this evening on the 19th.
Yes.
But one of the things that we always look at in terms of, yes, things are nice in terms of people on stage, participation, engagement, but health and safety. What are some of those things that you're looking at that patrons don't necessarily look at behind the scenes, but is really one of the things that NCC will be looking at as well?
Okay, so one of the meetings that I've attended over probably the last 2 to 3 months is a security meeting every single week, including having a postmortem on Monday after Panorama Semis. So that is a priority for us. The TTPS has been working with us and supporting. We are following their instructions. So you would realize even for, if you attended Pan Semis, we had some stricter protocols in terms of security arrangements and so. And that is based on their instruction. And it's worked really well. And I thank everyone for complying and so on. But it's been good so far. And they understand because, of course, they have a job to secure. And we have a job to make things fun and exciting. And sometimes the two don't really gel all the time, but they've been very patient with us and accommodating and understanding that, yes, it must have a rhythm section in the North Stand, you know, or several.
And that's one of the things. So when you look at some of these things, it makes sense. So in terms of the encouragement, so no oversized coolers and stuff, especially in the North Stand, it makes sense because when you see the North Stand ram out, a little bit again, they don't have breathing room.
Yeah.
You say, no, why? Those coolers would possibly make the thing a little dangerous in terms of just capacity. Yeah. But what are some of those other things that are coming up? So, because we would have seen you and others touring the space, Carnival City, making sure that everything is the way it's supposed to be. What are some of those things that are going to be in that space?
So in this space, and what we've tried to do is to look at it from the experience of the visitor. So if I were to use North Stand again, you know, the North Stand is pretty crowded. So what we did is we put tents downstairs for crews and other organizations so that they could have their meals and so on. So although we said no coolers upstairs, we said no food upstairs, no cooking upstairs. People used to cook in the North Stand apparently. But yes, although we said that, people were very compliant and they went downstairs, so they were lounging downstairs and they created these lovely spaces behind the North Stand for people to eat and have a good time. And so it's that we try to do, although we try to put restrictions in, we try to understand that, you know, it's for fun, it's a bacchanal, you know, people come there to have a good time, to enjoy the pan and so on. So, and then it's the same thing in the Carnival Village as well. You know, we try to make sure that we have bars, we have vendors, we have entertainment, something for children during the day, something for tourists coming in on cruise ships and so on. So, yeah, we try to mix it up and make it exciting.
So last night was political couture. What are some of the other things that we can be expecting, even like the John Cupid Village? Because we started off the conversation looking at the numbers. So what are some of the things? No man, pull fit, pull fit.
Yeah, you want me
Yes,
to go
please.
through. I have a whole list, because
Strainer Brains is real, and
listen,
especially the amount of things that
no,
you'll
no,
be doing
no.
in the season.
And I
So pull
want
it
to
so you don't
make
need to
sure.
retract and fix anything.
So Pan Junction is tonight. Brass's class is Thursday night, right, which is on the 20th. And then on the 21st, we have Come Larry Jump and Chip, right? So every night we have something. And then, well, Saturday we don't have anything because Saturday is Calypso Fiesta, right? So we don't want to distract anybody. Everybody go down to Skinner Park. We want everybody to go. And then Sunday we start again with Kaiso Classics. And then Monday for the Love of Pan. And then Wednesday we go to Kaiso Unplugged because, of course, we have an event in the Savannah on Tuesday. So we don't have anything. And then on Friday we have Bacchanalia, and then Ash Wednesday we have a cool down. So plenty happening. And of course we have vendors and food vendors, arts and craft vendors, and then we have a bar. So the Carnival Village in itself is almost, so you have a city and then the Carnival Village is like a village within the city, a town in the city, so it's nice.
I want to talk about parade routes, but just before we get into that, what are some of those things? Because yes, you said you have things for schools and students, but what are some of those things that you'll be using to just inculcate the culture of Trinidad and Tobago into the young ones so that it's not lost, that they can take it forward?
Okay, so at the Carnival Village, we have a program of activities during the day for students. But outside of that, the National Carnival Commission has a responsibility to train and develop our young people to help them to understand the traditional elements of Carnival culture and so on. So we have workshops in several secondary schools across the country. And then those workshops will culminate with a traditional parade on Carnival Friday, starting at Woodford Square and then going into the Savannah. So we try to make sure that, we keep the culture alive, and especially the traditional elements of the culture. We try to make sure we keep it alive.
And I think that is one of the things that it makes sense to invest in, because it hasn't been able, good, bad, or indifferent, to translate to other spaces that would take a carnival and theme it from Trinidad and Tobago, those traditional elements, so that people realize that there's so much more. Because even like when you talk to the makers of the mass and you go through their processes and realize there's spiritual aspects to it as well.
Correct.
There's so much more than we see at first blush, at first service, at all the surface of things. But on the surface of things, I want us to get to the road surface and talk about parade routes. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So we have 4 parade routes, right? Which we have published for consultation with our stakeholders. So we have a Juve route, and so on the Juve route we have 5 zones, and so because Juve is the hardest thing to sort of corral, and to keep in line. So people
as it should be.
Exactly. So, and that's why we're not trying to, but we have 5 zones, so depending on where the band is coming from and depending on where the band wants to go, because you have a downtown competition and so on, we have zones across the Port of Spain area. We also have the junior parade route, which of course starts on South Key, downtown, and goes up Frederick Street into the Savannah on Carnival Saturday. We have the traditional parade route, which I just described, which is Carnival Friday from Woodford Square into the Savannah. And then, of course, we have the Monday and Tuesday adult route, or the senior route. And so that route, we really didn't change the route much from last year because it works well. So you're using this traditional route of Arpita Avenue, parts of Tragreed Road, Mukarapa Road, into Port of Spain, like downtown and so on. So it's same route. We ain't trying anything new, because it worked last year, so, and we're putting things in place, working with stakeholders like Tech, Ministry of Agriculture for bees. So Ministry of Agriculture actually launched something yesterday related to bees during Carnival, because we have bees around all the time, but then the noise from the music truck will create a disturbance to the bees, and then they just go a little bit crazy. So Ministry of Agriculture is walking the parade route and inspecting the parade route And then we have Ministry of Works and Transport along with the Port of Spain City Corporation patching holes because you want when you chip, you know. Yeah, we want to keep the ankles safe while they're chipping. Yeah. So everybody is really on board to help us, and so we're very grateful and appreciative.
And I like the fact that you talk about this all hands on deck approach and engaging with different stakeholders. And one of the things is also getting data. So we hear talk about the amount of flights that will be coming in. And so is there a direct conversation looking at the amounts of flights coming in, because you already spoke about cruise ships, so making sure that there's something for people who are coming in and being able to go around to these sorts of things. What is the conversation like in terms of looking at, okay, we have so many flights coming in, these are the people that we want to cater to as well?
Yeah, so one of the things that we've done at the Carnival City in particular is to do some development work on our infrastructure. So we've done a significant amount of work on the grandstand. So I don't know if you're familiar, but the grandstand used to be timber floors, and so now it's concrete. And so, I mean, even in that infrastructure work, we were able to create a bit more space. I don't know how, I'm not an engineer, but it happened. And then also to create, as I said, the additional spaces within the space, so the liming areas in the North Stand, to accommodate more people, you know, and to create more opportunities for our vendors and stakeholders and so on.
And I'm glad that we're able to have this conversation, because normally some of the conversations will talk about, okay, what the judges do, okay, which band didn't make it into the finals this time around, but realizing that there's so much going on. Bunji Garland would say that Carnival is a sea that deep, and the infrastructural work, looking at the fact that thought has gone into experiences, and even though you want to have people safe, still marrying that safety with a level of engagement. The cooking in the North Stand is new to me. I never hear about that one.
But that's what I was told.
I thought people bring the thing and come like Tanti Moon.
That's what I was told. I was like, really? Wow, yeah. So that's what I was told. Yeah.
And that's an experience as well.
Correct,
so in terms of like looking at the amount of fets and looking at those amount of entertainment style events, what are your thoughts on the fact that things are being a little more thematically created, and people are looking at ways that they can create experiences while marrying it with the culture?
Well, I think that's part of the innovation of Carnival. So you want to have, I mean, because there was a time where the concept of a PP truck, people didn't understand it, you know, didn't know, would not even imagine. So that's part of the innovation of Carnival, you know, to move it along, to hold on to the tradition while innovating, you know, and that's the magic of Trinidad and Tobago's Carnival, and that's why our theme is No Place Like Home, because this is the best place for Carnival.
I was going to ask you for closing words as well, but I think that is it, right, hitting the nail on the head. Also want to remind individuals that for more information, you can check ncctt.org online. You can also go to Facebook and Instagram, see what is happening near you, see what you need to organize for. Still no cooking in the grandstand. Thank you very much, CEO of NCC, Keiba Jacobs Mottley. Stay with us. We return after this.